Good afternoon, everyone. It's Mrs. Evans with you today. As you can see, we will be finishing our pronunciation activities. If you remember, we have already done part 1 and part 2, but we haven't finished part 2. And we stopped during the triphthongs. I have already given you the rules, so now let's tackle some activities, shall we? So for the first task, classify the following words in the table. You have fire, coward, soya, iron, layer, player, slower, liar, hour, loyal, and quiet. So shall we see the correction? So here in the table, what do we have? Fire, iron, liar, quiet, liar, ire, liar. Coward, hour, coward, hour. Do you see the pronunciation? Layer, aye, layer, player. Soya, loyal, slower, okay? Slower. What I suggest is that you learn a word with each triphthong. Then when you have your BM exam and they give you a typical exercise, you can make a comparison between the two sounds, and then you get it, okay? Now, task 2, pick up 3 words from the previous task to complete the following sentences. So here I have 3 words, so I have to take from the table and complete these sentences. The first one, the burnt all the forest, all the forest. So the word here should be fire. The fire burnt all the forest. He is one of the best in the world. He is one of the best in the world. What's the word here? The word here should be player. Okay? So he is one of the best player in the world. The pupils remained all in the classroom. The pupils remained all in the classroom. The word here should be quiet. Okay? Is it clear? Now, take the correct triphthong in each of the following words. So you may have this kind of exercise, or you may have fill in the table with the right pronunciation. Here, flower. Flower is this one. Okay? Dryer. Dryer. Liar. Dryer. This one. Royal. Royal. This one. And layer. Layer. Player. This one. Okay? Now, strong and weak form of the auxiliaries have and has. This is related to the present perfect that I have already explained. Here, what do you have? We have and has. Have and has are weak. What's the opposite of weak? It's strong. Weak and strong are opposites. So, are weak forms of have and has in questions. Okay, so if my question starts with have and has, it should be weak. The pronunciation should be weak. Have you ever written a poem? It's not have you ever written a poem. Have you ever written a poem? So the pronunciation here is weak. Have and has are strong forms of have and has at the end of short answers to yes or no questions. What does it mean? When I ask you this kind of question, have you ever written a poem? Have you ever written a poem? So this question should be yes, the answer should be yes or no. So whenever you answer with yes and no, with have and has, the pronunciation of have and has should be strong. So the answer here would be, yes, I have. Yes, I have. It's not yes, I have. Yes, I have. Do you see the difference? Have you ever? Have you ever? Yes, I have. Okay? And do you see the how it's written? H, schwa, and V. Okay? And here H, long A, and V. Do you see the how it's written? I hope so. Okay? Now, haven't and hasn't. Haven't and hasn't are strong forms. Haven't and hasn't have no weak form. Okay? So whenever you have the negative form, for example here, yes, I have, or no, I haven't. No, I haven't. So the pronunciation here is strong. So whenever you have the negative form, the pronunciation is always strong. Now, what do we have here? Apostrophe VE, it's the contracted form of I have, is pronounced V. After the personal pronoun I, you, we, they. So you can say you've or have, okay? Or you have or I have, okay? They've been to Spain. They've been to Spain, okay? S is pronounced z. S is pronounced z after the personal pronoun he and she. She's learned. It's not she's. She's learned a lot. She's learned a lot. S apostrophe is pronounced S after the personal pronoun it's. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. So do you see the difference? Whenever you have she and he, it's pronounced z, and whenever you have it, it's pronounced s. Okay, I hope it's clear. Now, let's move on to an activity, task 1. I circled the correct pronunciation. Which one is it? This is what? Is it a question? Yes, it's a question, okay? So which one I'm going to choose? Strong form or weak form? Weak form. So, have you ever dreamt of a different career, Professor Noble? So this is the journalist. Professor Noble, yes? Yes? So it's a yes or no question. Which one is it? Strong or weak? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Okay? When I was young, I wanted to become a writer. This one, it's a question. So strong or weak? Strong or weak? Weak, yes. Has your father influenced your career inspirations? Professor Noble? Of course. So this one is what? Is it a question? No. Of course he has. Strong form. Of course he has. This one, we have the pronoun he. So is it pronounced S or Z? Z. He's obliged me to become a scientist. Journalist. How do you feel about it today? Professor Noble. Well, what do we have here? We have the pronoun it. Well, it's been. It's been hard, but what do I have here? I've. Okay, because we have the contracted form of have. I've never given up writing. Now, task 2, same as the first task. It's the same one. We have A and B. So here, is it a question? Yes, it's a question. So here we're going to choose the weak form. Have you ever met any of our former primary school friends? Actually, it's a question? No, it's an answer. Actually, I have. Strong form. Have. Do you see? It's the contracted form of have. So is it this one or this one? It's this one. Excellent. I've met Munir twice lately. A, he was a funny boy. He was a funny boy. B. So what do we have here? We have the pronoun he. So S or Z? Z. He's been to England from what I have. From what I have, what? It's a question. From what I have. It's not have. Understood. It, I have the pronoun it here. S or Z? S. It's been a very good experience for him. A, well, I guess we learn a lot from traveling. Okay, so again, I said whenever you have she or he, the S apostrophe should be pronounced Z. And whenever you have it, the S apostrophe should be pronounced S. Okay? I think it's clear so far. Now, pronunciation of final ED, I think that most of you know the pronunciation of final ED. This is just a reminder of the rule, okay? So T, whenever you have P, K, SH, CH, GH, TH, double S, C, and X, before your ED, so before the ED, you have these letters. It should be pronounced T. It should be pronounced T. Whenever you have these letters, L, B, and M, R, J, V, S, W, Y, Z, plus all vowels, you know all the vowels, plus diphthongs and triphthongs, it should be pronounced the. It should be pronounced the. And for the ED, last one is simple. Whenever you have a T or a D, it should be pronounced ED, okay? I listen and repeat. ED, started, I have a T here. started, affected, represented, T, exploded, D, decided, D, and needed, D. Now T, it's not liked, liked, because I have a K, influenced, I have a C, wished, SH, hoped, P, and stressed, S. Okay, last one, encouraged, encouraged, J, loved, V, enjoyed, Y, studied, D, caused, S, and opposed, S. Okay, here is double S. Is it clear? Now, task 2. I cross the intruder in each list. So here in each list, there is one word which doesn't have the same pronunciation as the other ones. So here what do we have? ED, completed, completed, demanded, liberated, wanted, ended, studied, folded. Which one is it? Studied, studied, okay? Here, checked, passed, wrapped, robbed, laughed, rushed, and matched. Which one is it? It's robbed. It's pronounced the, robbed. Lived, died, colonized, missed, suffered, employed, and joined. Missed. We have double S. It's pronounced T. Okay? Now, I classified the following words in the table. So, during your BM exam, they might give you a series of words and then you have to cross the intruder, or they would simply give you a table and they give you also words and you have to classify them, or they also might ask you to look for words within the text and then complete the given table. Resisted, resisted, ED. Resisted, ED, okay. Interviewed, interviewed. Interviewed. D, replaced. Okay. Reminded. Reminded. Oppressed. Oppressed. We have double S. Okay. Traveled. Okay. Cared. Cared. Invaded. Invaded. And kicked. And kicked. Okay? Now, write T for T sound, ED for ED sound, and D for D sound. I, how would you pronounce this word? I laughed. See, I laughed. The GH here is silent and it's pronounced T. I laughed at the joke. Our work is finished. Finished. T. The snake killed the mouse. The snake killed the mouse. D. The teacher helped the students. Helped the students. We wrapped the presents last night. Wrapped. We hiked to the top of the mountain. James rented his apartment. ED. We can't go swimming because the pool is covered. D. And that old house is haunted. ED. Okay? Is it clear? Now, complete the following. Here, I have listened. If I add ED, which sound do I have? Listened, D. Clean plus ED, cleaned, D. Look, looked, T. Close, closed, closed, D. And want, wanted, ED. Okay? Provide plus ED, provided, ED, because I have a D here. Smoke, smoked, T. Stay, stayed, D. Visit, visited, ed, because I have a T here, and work, worked. Okay, so most of the words are common within the BM exam. You won't be surprised with other new words. It's always the same words which are repeated. Now, this was the end of our pronunciation part 3. We have officially finished the review of the first semester and the second semester. Next time, inshallah, we will be doing a part with mixed activities. And please just remember, for the first and second semester, we didn't do any written expression. We don't have enough time, but you have to write a biography or a paragraph about a landmark or a monument, and then also to narrate your childhood memories, to talk about your best friend, your best teacher, etc. These are just tips for you. Thank you and see you again.